Barbecue is my religion, is what Bob says. I lost my faith a while ago and went from angry atheist kid to broken and damaged agnostic. Well, if I were to go back to being religious, I'd probably join the Church of Bob in the kingdom of barbecue. We'd pray to the holy tong and all that spice, dry rub and all. Man, I prescribe to that shit. Barbecue is a religion. There's something so primal about cooking meat and smoking meats using fire and smoke. Almost something cavemanish about it. Now, Bob isn't a caveman. He is the caveman. Man, days in Goa are meant to be spent like this, boss. Drink a beer, smoke your meat, and sell it in the evening to pay your fucking bills. Loving father, devoted husband, raver, smoker of meats, sight-round aficionado are some words that come to mind when I think of Bob. I'm going over today to hang out with Bob while he chops some wood, starts a fire, and begins to prep the meat for tonight's meat fest.
Hell yeah! Are you recording right now?
A little bit.
Because actually, it's kind of interesting what I'm doing. One of the things I do here, I think is quite interesting. Because for the chainsaw, you need to use chain oil
Yes.
to keep it lubricated. But in India, chain oil,
Not good.
well, you don't know where to find it. Can't find it anywhere. I went to every bloody shop. So I did some research online, and I found out that the lumberjacks in Canada, when they're out in the bush, they started to use vegetable oil. And what they would do is they would actually put mushroom spores in the vegetable oil, because when you're using the chainsaw, you know, the chain as it turns is constantly just spraying oil,
Yes.
right? So when you use the vegetable oil and the mushroom spores, as you're spraying, you're basically planting mushroom spores throughout the forest. And then the mushroom spore, they grow the mycelium, the root structure for the mushrooms, which helps the whole forest grow back faster and more effectively.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm using my old fryer oil, actually, out at the shop in Chapora. I take the fry oil, I filter it so it's clean. So now my chainsaws smell a little bit like French fries.
Firstly, that sounds delicious and that's sustainable
And easier.
and easier.
Bob's a Canadian who came over from the Netherlands, where he was a bicycle guide. Bob even smokes all his salt at home, so the morning eggs are barbecue flavored. A true purist of his art. चलो अब जल्दी से अपने कान खोल दो और आंखें बंद कर दो. क्यों? क्योंकि मैं दिल्ली का लोड़ू हूँ. दिल्ली का लोड़ू. और सब कुछ मुमकिन है. सब कुछ मुमकिन है. Do you think Jeff ever thought he's going to be selling some brilliant barbecue in Goa? I don't think so. Did I think I'm going to be making pallet wrecker? Maybe. Mostly not. Life's a weird trip. And it just gets weirder. Now Jeff sources some of the best products. Knows the farmers, gets the meats. Uses mango wood freshly chopped from around his house. And makes the fire burn. He does have one complaint though. That the cows and the pigs in India don't have enough fat. And fat is the vehicle of favors, my friends. You can hate it or you love it. Fat is freaking awesome. Now Jeff uses some amazing local spices and rubs, and he preps the meat right here in front of our eyes. Amazing chicken breasts, chicken thighs, something called burnt ends, which are amazing bits of pork belly, some lip smacking ribs. His barbecue sauce is very original. He's just a great hardworking guy, managing 2 different locations all by himself.
Basically, you have the fire down on the side, and then there's a hole which lets the hot air and the smoke come through.
Slower.
Well, that's the whole thing, right? Slow cook makes better,
Yes.
better tasting. It stays juicier. You keep more of the flavor.
Yes. This is like a smoked sous vide.
Sort of.
Sort of.
I've got some more stuff actually I want to put in right now as well. So just hold off for a moment.
So the Argentinians and the Spanish do a lot of good barbecuing.
They do, but it's very, very different style from this. This
Yes.
is very much Texas, Kansas. This is from the American South, the style I do. Absolute biggest sellers, the wings.
Would we have ribs tonight?
I made sure we saved one from yesterday.
Oh, nice.
Because they sell.
What I can do is, tomorrow when you're smoking the ribs, I can just come alone with my cell phone and record that.
Well, it's not super interesting.
It'll be nice to piece it all together for the episode.
It's basically it's a 6-hour process.
Okay. So it's 3 hours is the marination. Are you a fan of Raja Ram, Shpongal?
Back in the day,
Back in
but
the day.
yeah, it's boring now.
Yeah.
I saw them play a couple years ago, and the thing is, it's the exact same fucking set they used to play 20 years ago. Like track by track,
Yeah.
exactly the same. And 20.
That's like I've lived life. But when DMT was playing at San Francisco, everything became quiet because none of the idiots over there, the audience even knew the song.
Yeah.
And I was like singing the song out loud, and I was looking around, and everyone was just like not. I was shocked. And in North America, it's really the psychedelic. I don't know. I expected way better music for trance and psychedelic being San Francisco, but it's
they just don't get.
Yeah, that was one disappointment I had. Oh wow, it smells divine.
We were vibing out loud while the meats were smoking. His assistant was butchering some fish on the side for his meal later. Bob and I spoke emphatically about the sad state of psychedelic trance music in San Francisco. Bob told me about how his favorite chore growing up was stoking the fire during frigid winters in Canada, which funnily enough led him to become a champion of the barbecue cooking style.
Light's good here though?
That's good. What do you say, Sabri?
So what I do with the scraps though, actually I take it up the road, we have the World Veterinary Service. They're always looking for food.
Oh, that's so nice.
So every week I end up donating all the scrap pieces.
Happy dogs, happy animals.
Yeah, definitely. But you can see with this how nice bacon it's going to make. You got the layering of the meat and the fat in there,
Yep.
right? And then I do some dry cured bacon.
Oh wow, get some carbonara out of that.
It's super tasty because the problem with bacon in India is all the stuff available in the shops is no fat in it.
No fat at all, absolutely.
And it's cut way too thin.
All it does is get crispy.
Yeah.
I hate it that way.
You need the fat.
Yes. You see, it's called a petila.
Okay.
It's a little bubbly.
Where's it from?
Petila, it's from Portugal. And it uses the grapes which Baga, Rufete, Touriga Franca, and Tinta Barroca.
Okay.
These are all red grapes that are used most of them are used in port production. So there's a very grippy, strong tannins, a nice amount of acidity in this wine, which really helps the rosé hold its own with meats, seafood, anything as such. Very versatile wine. And we got Gazoo 2016 by Telmo Rodriguez from Ribera del Duero, 100% Tempranillo, and as much as I say, it would be a little less for this beautiful wine. This wine producer, they call him the driving winemaker, because he drives around Spain to his different vineyards, and he conducts his work. And super nice wine, super affordable, and very good.
I've had some tasty wine in Spain for sure.
How about I open this up and let it breathe?
Great idea.
Which part of Spain was your favorite?
Also, it depends. I really like Valencia.
Yeah.
Madrid also. Everybody knows Madrid, but I've had a lot of good times in Madrid.
It's a good party spot.
Well, it's a good party spot, but also I think best tapas.
Yes.
I think the best tapas in Spain is there. Barcelona is nice, but I think it's overrated. Too many people, it's too busy, too expensive. What I like most about Spain though is not really the cities, but more like the small villages.
Yeah. And did you find the different cultures like they do?
The Basque and the Catalan.
Yes.
One of my absolute best friends is Catalan.
And I'm sure he had lots to say about what he felt about politics and stuff.
Trying to stay away from politics.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of carbonation.
Yes. And this, the owner of this wine shaped this like a flask of soldiers.
Oh, nice
I
wine.
wanted to be a little different. Yes. Oh wow, we will give this a little taste before we lose the bubbles. Cheers.
It's quite nice.
Surprisingly, isn't it?
It is.
A lot of
Got a nice nose to it.
lots of red, black fruit. I don't think this would be scared.
nice. Oh,
Yeah,
very nice.
Go very well with the meats.
I think it should actually. It's nice and crisp.
And gripping tannins.
Yeah, absolutely.
Help break the meat down.
The legs are quite good though.
Uh-huh. The only thing about the legs is that sometimes this is a new glass, so it's got a good coating on it. Over time when glasses get washed, they lose their coating, so it's tough to. But this, we can tell properly that. It's got about 11% alcohol, so yeah, it's about really standard. Yeah, standard.
Very nice one. I never gin personally, but he knows I like gin, so he wanted me to taste some of the different ones he had, and like I walked out 20 minutes later halfway drunk.
I love gin.
Gin works.
Gin works.
Gin works well.
It's like the wine of the spirit world.
The thing is, gin had such a bad reputation for so many years.
Mother's ruin and all of that.
Yeah, but there is some fantastic gin out there, and actually some really, really amazing Indian gin right now.
It's a little craze right now.
Yeah, no, gin's great. Actually, gin is what started off the whole cocktail industry as well. It started in Prohibition in the States. People didn't really do cocktails before then. But then there was Prohibition. You couldn't buy any good alcohol, so they were just making this rot gut gin,
Bathtub gin.
in the bathtub. Yeah, exactly. And then it tasted so bloody awful that you had to mix it with a bunch of different fruit juices in order to make it palatable.
Yeah.
So that was how cocktails really started.
Yep.
Yeah.
After a few funny interactions with the Chapora locals, some hungry dogs, and a curious cow, I'm talking about a bovine, I promise. We settled into a nice nook next to Jeff's shop. As a sommelier, this day was rewarding as hell and super fun. Plus, I got to take a camera into Chapora to shoot food and wine stuff, which is pretty cool, I'd say. We ended the evening by rolling into the iconic Darling's Bar, a safe haven for pirates and their friends. Well, that's the beauty of Chapora. You never know what to expect, but it's always a good time. As long as you behave.
So we paired some delicious wine with some amazing barbecue meats. Thank you, Jeff.
No problem.
For being a part of Palate Trekker. We follow interesting stories, unique stories, and we try to pair wine. It's all about philosophy, flavors, technique, and exploration. And I think we've got our fair share here tonight in Chapora. And I hope all of you guys come here and check out